I'm Howie Scarborough. I'm the CEO of Fall Protection Distributors, and we've recently released a blog. What we've written about is the Bryer Company standing seam roofs and compatible fall protection equipment designed to work with their panels. So Bryer Company is out of Washington State, big company, big supplier of standing seam panels. So if you jump into this blog, you'll see we go in depth into their different panels. We have a quick reference chart. It's the simplest way to kind of understand their panels and what works and what doesn't work when talking about fall protection. So their panels are across the top. Now we're very compatible with just about all of their systems with the exception of two. The TBC Super Curve, very simply, that's a standing seam system that can be curved. Anytime you're working on a curved standing seam system, we recommend that you bring in a safety professional to inspect that roof and let that safety expert determine the correct fall protection. Don't assume that everything will work with a curved roof because it does complicate fall protection. The other exception is going to be the cap lock, TBC cap lock. The reason we're not compatible with that is that has a batten cover over the actual vertical seams. So if you were to attach seam mounted anchors to that and the batten strip were to break loose, it could slide down the seams along with your fall protection anchors and possibly your workers. So you don't want to ever attach seam mounted equipment whenever the set screws are sitting on top of a batten strip. All right, so let's go through the products. So the first product is our flagship. This is the base of our safety system. So the SSRA1, this is a seam mounted anchor. It comes with two different types of set screws are available. The SSRA1 standard is an all stainless steel cup tip set screw. This is designed for 22 gauge steel, and this is going to torque to 90 inch-pounds. This provides tie-off for a single worker, or the D-ring can be removed, and there's adapter plates for walkboards and horizontal lifelines. The other type of set screw, so same anchor, just different set screws. The other type of set screw has a nylon bushing in the end. So on the website, this is called an SSRA1 nylon version. It's a few dollars more because the set screws cost more, but this one is intended for 24 gauge steel panels. This is going to use a little bit more torque. It's 180 to 200 inch-pounds. So that's 22 and 24 gauge steel. When we're talking about 26 and 29 gauge, you don't want to use seam mounted anchors with those. That you're getting into too soft of metal. We have some other alternatives. And if you've got copper or zinc, other panel materials, we have other alternative products that we'll talk about in a second for that. But the SSRA1 is intended primarily for 22 and 24 gauge steel panels that are not curved. Now, once those are installed, if you want to add 10-foot walkboards for some stable footing, you can do the SSRA2 roof jack adapter that mounts right on top of the SSRA1. It has height adjustable legs for different height seams, and that will allow you to have 10-foot walkboards on the roof, and you can have one worker per walkboard. If you need a temporary 100-foot horizontal lifeline, you can mount the SSRA3 Anchor Plate adapter on top of two SSRA1 Seam Anchors, and you would need one of those assemblies at each end of your rope. So to mount a 100-foot rope, you'd need 4 SSRA1 anchors, 2 SSRA3 Anchor Plates, and a 100-foot rope. Now, keep in mind, if you've got to run 75 feet, you can take a 100-foot rope and there's a line tensioner on the rope. You can shorten the rope to whatever you want, but it's a max of 100 feet. In the instances where you might have a client that wants a permanent lifeline installed, we do carry a 120-foot kit by Super Anchor. It is made specifically for standing seam roofs, so it clamps onto the seams. It has a base plate, has a riser post, and 120 feet of steel galvanized cable. That's available on our website as well. And then the alternative product that I was talking about previously, that's the Ridge Pro. It's a simple ridge hook, goes on the end of a 16-foot pole. This is great for, and it is intended for 612 to 1212 pitch roofs. But what's great about it is it doesn't really matter what the panel material is. It can be shingle, it can be 29 gauge steel, it can be aluminum zinc. There's a lot of different roofing materials you can have that the Ridge Pro will provide an anchor point for. But a worker would have this on the end of a 16-foot extension pole, ascend a ladder, use the pole to run it up the roof. It flips over the peak, And as it locks over the peak, it provides a vertical lifeline for that worker. So once the worker steps off the ladder onto the roof, he's already tied off. He's 100% tied off. This is what we would consider a first man up product as well. So if you need to get a man on the roof to go install other anchor points, the Ridge Pro is a great starter point to protect that worker while there's no other fall protection on the roof. And then that worker can get back to the ladder, then release the Ridge Pro remotely with the pole, lower it to the ground safely. So if you have questions about any of these products or any of these panels, please reach out. Our phone number is at the top of the website. Our email is support@fallpd.com. And this little blue circle in the bottom right corner, that's our live chat. Let us know how we can help you.